What's going on, guys? Welcome back for another episode. Today, we're crushing our top 5 leg day movements. Brandon and I both created this list separately, and when talking about it, we actually realized that we made the same exact list. So that's how you know this is the perfect top 5 leg day movements.
Juicy.
Yep, we're actually going to finish out with a single bonus movement that you can toss in there if one of these doesn't jive with you. All right, so let's get right into it. Ooh, did you put yours in a specific order? I forgot to talk about
I
that.
was also just thinking that we didn't really rank them in any
Okay.
way,
I
shape, or
have
form.
I have mine ranked, so I'll go first.
Okay.
Um so here's my top 5 in order. Number 1 is going to be the RDL. Number 2 is going to be the hack squat. Number 3 is going to be the back squat. Number 4 is going to be a hamstring curl, and the 5th movement is going to be a Bulgarian split squat.
Gotcha.
How does that line up for you?
I'm gonna go RDL, back squat, hack squat, Bulgarians, and then ham curls.
And then ham curls?
Yeah.
Okay. So RDL ranks king, of course. If you
Yeah.
follow this channel at all, which you should, and hit that subscribe button, you will know that we are huge fans of the RDL. They are fantastic movement. So if they aren't in your program currently, you should definitely throw them in. And then second, you had back squat, and I had hack squat.
Mm-hmm.
So they're relatively similar movements. The reason why I have hack second is just because there are going to be certain people that off the bat back squats don't jive with. I've found that generally people can work and output on a hack squat a little bit better than they can with a back squat. Sometimes becoming proficient in a back squat takes a pretty good amount of time, and a hack squat is a really good alternative to really put on some size on your legs. So that's why I have it second over the back squat.
Gotcha.
Why did you kind of order yours that way?
I just ordered mine like that, just in terms of loading.
Gotcha.
Not really taking into account, proficiency.
Yeah.
But the idea of being able to kind of isolate things a little bit more and then really drive yourself into the ground with a hack squat
Yep.
is
Yeah.
A1 steak sauce. Yeah, I was just really thinking about loading, and that's pretty much that, and output.
Gotcha. Yeah. So the hack squat is really, really good for learning to push yourself to your very end. You can generally kind of knock out a few extra reps once you feel you're done. Whereas a back squat, generally once you start to break down, your set ends pretty quickly
Yeah, there are a few bottlenecks that come in with the back
with
squat,
the back squat.
definitely. Whether it's at your feet, your knees, your hips, or your spine.
Right. There's a
Yeah,
lot of fail points in a back squat. Whereas a
exactly.
hack squat, it's a little bit more controlled.
Yeah, yeah.
So then I had hamstring curl and then Bulgarian, and you had Bulgarian then hamstring curl.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, the only reason I put hamstring curl above Bulgarian is because I have the other two first. I have hack and back squat ahead of it.
Okay.
And,
All
and
right.
um, we don't have, other than the RDL, a hamstring movement.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
So that one is really important to have programmed. It's one of the few ways that you can actually load the stretch and fully contract your hamstring. So a hamstring curl is super, super important in a program. You can kind of place them anywhere in your workout. Um, More often than not, you'll see them at beginning or end. Personally, actually, I think for Brandon and I both, we prefer ours at the beginning for other reasons that we won't talk about in this video. But why did you put Bulgarians over your hamstring curl?
I was mainly thinking about the prioritization of the movement and, again, loading and the amount of skill and technique that it would require for those
Gotcha.
movements.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, and then on my list, Bulgarian is last, and it's not because it's a bad movement. But it was honestly, it was mostly put there because I wrote down my top 4 really quickly, and then I realized that I didn't put any unilateral movements in there, and unilateral is super, super important in your leg days. If you don't have any unilateral or That means single leg if you don't know, or single, I guess, moving part. In this case, single leg. You should definitely have at least one of those movements in your leg days. They're really important. They're good. They're going to make sure your hips are still in check and you're not kind of just cemented in your hips. And then it's also a really good way to make sure you're not getting any imbalances in your training. So it's kind of dual purpose there, which is why that's now fifth, is because I wasn't going to have this list without a unilateral movement in there.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah. So now we're towards basically the end of our list, and I wanted to give an extra movement that can really be super versatile, and can actually replace a good handful of the movements that are on here, and that's using a Smith machine. I really like Smith squats. And they're a good alternative if you don't have a hack squat, right? If you don't have a hack squat, you can set up your Smith so that you're in essentially a hack squat kind of stance. If you're not fully comfortable back squatting yet, that's a good way to kind of take off the systemic demand of back squatting, is to do it on a Smith. And, especially if you're listening to this, you're probably within bodybuilding. In which case we are in the profession of building muscle, and Smith squat is a really good way to do that. It's a perfectly viable option. There's a lot of ways to kind of manipulate it so that it can take over or replicate the other movements within this list. So definitely don't throw that out. There's nothing degrading or makes you less of a bodybuilder using a Smith machine. I know sometimes it can feel that way, but it's a perfectly viable option.
Yeah. Just don't use clips on the Smith machine.
That's a pet peeve of Brandon's.
All right. So just to be fair for the listeners, I'll give them a different exercise here. The adductor machine.
Oh,
I knew you were going to do
dude.
that too. I knew you were going to do that.
Oh my God.
I knew
Yeah,
you were going to do that.
fantastic movement. Especially if you are a bodybuilder, like you
You got to fill the gap.
You kind of gotta, yeah. It's one of those. The adductor machine is one of those machines that is so hard to, replicate at all. There's very few movements that you can do that are going to hit the adductor the way an adductor machine will. Yeah, that's a fantastic choice. I highly recommend putting those in. Just from personal experience, I literally did the adductor machine every single day. I actually still do it every single day for months, and it was a huge part of just my leg development as a whole. It really kind of filled out the size of my legs, and makes a huge difference. So yeah, that's a fantastic extra option. That's way better than Smith, man.
I knew you were going to say that too. Well,
That's
not the better,
amazing.
but I knew you were going to be like, oh, how could I forget that?
Yeah, no, that's a fantastic item on that list.
And if you guys are planning on hitting your adductors every day like Brady, just keep in account the amount of volume that you're doing. He only does 2 sets,
Yep,
15
I do
reps.
2 sets. Yep, two
so
sets of 15, and that's it.
Yep.
I can still walk out of the gym.
Exactly.
Yeah, so just to kind of recap that, to finish out the episode, our top 5 movements were RDL, hack squat, back squat, hamstring curl, Bulgarian, and your 2 extras were Smith squats and adductor machine.
Oh yeah.
So definitely, if those aren't in your program, start throwing them in your program. You don't have to do all of them, but those are going to be our top 5 favorites, and definitely 2 very important honorable mentions there.
Hey.
Yeah, so if this guy's sorry everybody, if this video helped kind of helped you figure out how you're going to plan out your leg days, or maybe some movements that you hadn't thought of, definitely hit that like button, maybe hit the subscribe. We've got a pretty good amount of viewers that just kind of ghost watch us. Hitting that subscribe button seriously helps us out a lot. So hit that little red button down in the corner, and we'll catch you on the next one. All right, everybody, peace.